there is quite a high chance that you are not who you think you are, and that your idea of self has been created by an amalgamation of ideas, beliefs, thoughts, evidence, and experiences. However, trouble arises as humans are selective creatures. We build out our identity and our world around us based off of select truth or selected evidence, selected beliefs. We don't take everything into consideration because that doesn't form a coherent identity. We need to pin it down to something to be able to say, this is who I am. I am a good person, for instance. And in reality, you're probably a decent person, most of the time that you're pleasant and you're nice, but there will be times that you are selfish or you are angry or you do the wrong thing or you do something which is inconsiderate or thoughtless, or maybe you meant to hurt somebody, but you did it for personal gain. And that doesn't mean that you are all bad, and it doesn't mean that you are all good. But by saying, I'm a good person, you are misrepresenting who you are, because you're not a good person, you are a person. It is hard enough to figure out the morality of a single incident, let alone when you think about all of the incidents and all of the choices and all of what has gone on in your life across an entire lifespan. And of course, this doesn't mean that you should start thinking that you're a terrible person, but what it is to say is that nobody is truly a good person, because we are all a mix. We are all good and bad. We all have good thoughts and bad thoughts. We make good decisions and bad decisions. We make mistakes and we make the right choice. And this amalgamation of information, we like to stick it into some nice, pretty, confined label. So we say, well, if we do mostly good things, then you're a good person. And if you do mostly bad things, then you're a bad person. And the more we try to escape this reality, the more we try to fix ourselves to mutable things like happiness. I'm a happy person, but you're not a happy person. You can't be happy all of the time. And if you are happy all of the time, then you're probably not very happy. But the idea is that we exist in a state of transience and change. And yet people very much believe that who they are is fixed, that they are who they are, and that is not subject to change. But everything is subject to change. And certainly who you are is very much up for debate. You can't point a finger at who you are. You can point a finger at your body, but other than that, you are who you are today. And other than that, I can't prove that you are beyond who you are today. And yet I know that tomorrow you will be someone else. It doesn't matter how consistently you are showing up in the world, because under the surface, change is going on whether you like it or not. I can do the same thing every day, show up, give my best, and from the outside perspective, people think, wow, he's doing a great job. But underneath, I'm getting exhausted, I'm getting tired, I'm getting bored. I'm starting to resent the obligation of having to turn up, of having to give so much. And yet, because I want to keep this identity going, I keep giving, I keep delivering. And the more I do that, the more resentful I get. So then this one person who seems so consistent suddenly gets split into two. There is the person that shows up and does the work and is enthusiastic, and there is this other person who is demonized and villainized for feeling angry and upset and tired of having to give so much, or tired of having to show up so consistently in the world. Maybe they want to change. Maybe they want to give something else a go. Maybe they want to try something different, wear some different clothes, or show up in a different way, or surprise people. But because people depend on them, they have become consistent. People depend on each other to show up in this consistent way. And when somebody changes, most of the time, people find it very uncomfortable. They feel like, well, who are you? I don't know this version of you. I don't know who you are. You're not holding up your end of the bargain. You introduced me as John Doe, and represented yourself as this kind of person, and suddenly you're telling me that there's more to it, that this person I have grown comfortable with and accepted in the confines of the box that I have put them in now no longer exists. And of course, the truth is that neither person exists already. We are all ideas of ourselves. And the main point of this, and understanding this, is to realize that you are making the choice to be who you say you are, to show up in the world in the way, whether that's consistent or not, with who you have represented yourself as being. You are fixed because you've said, well, I've done this and this is how I've shown up in the world, so this is what I have to do. But of course, that's not the only way. You could suddenly become a goth and go out there all in black with your hair done and, black clothes and black shoes and black trousers and say, well, this is who I am now. And the thought of changing so dramatically is terrifying to people because they say, well, that's not me. That's not who I am. But who you are is changing constantly, whether you accept it or not. You are changing every day. And every day that you wake up, you decide how you are going to represent who you are and how you show up in the world. So why not show up in a way that you want to show up? And it might feel strange. It might feel inconsistent. It might feel like a lie, like it's not you, because you haven't become that person yet. But if you feel sad or depressed or like you're not happy with your life or who you are or your obligations, you're not satisfied with your life, then why choose to keep showing up in the same way? You do not need to. You are under no obligation to show up consistently as a very specific person in a very tightly formed box, because that's not who you are. That's not who any of us are. We are all so much more than we think we are. We have so much depth, so much curiosity and creativity. We are impossibly complex. And if you think that you are simple or that you are basic, you have no idea how wrong you are. You are unaware of your own depth. And that is a sad truth. It's not a case of the depth doesn't exist. It's just that you are unaware. You have never gone digging. You haven't allowed yourself to go deep enough inwards to discover how much is within you. One of the main reasons why we do this, why we pick a fixed persona, a fixed identity, is that it's hard to get people to accept any fixed identity. So you work on building up this image that people like, that people love, or even just that people tolerate. And you graft it and chip away at it like somebody working on marble statue. And you chip away at it until it becomes something that is digestible to other people. And once you've got something that at least a few people like, you think, well, I'm holding on to this. Like I at least have some people that love and accept me. So if I change, maybe I'll lose that. If I become more me, maybe I'll lose the little love and appreciation that I have. And that's what scares us. That if we change, we have to do it all over again. We have to build up this identity. We have to go through the process of getting rejected, of meeting people that now accept this new version of us. And if people love you, they will accept any version of you. And if not, then it was always conditional. It was always conditional love based on a lie. I will love you if you show up in this way that is authentic to you at this point in time for the rest of your life. No matter how much you change, no matter how much you feel differently or want differently, I expect you to exist exactly as I want you to exist. And that is not love. So true love is accepting all the versions of someone. The positive, the good, the bad, the ugly. That doesn't mean that you have to tolerate bad behavior or abuse or anything like that. It's just to say that you accept and you love them for who they are. And if that's who they are, then maybe you need to create distance from them. But You still love them, but we are absolutely terrified of this change, especially identity change, changing things that people believe that are fundamental to us. Like, you might have always identified as a nice person. I'm a nice, polite person. And the thought of people seeing you as something other than a nice, polite person terrifies you. You probably couldn't stand the thought of somebody thinking that you were a bad person, or that you were horrible, or that you were mean. And not that they don't like you, but they think that you were horrible to them, that you made them feel small. And to a nice person, that's the worst thing they can imagine, is that they made someone feel how they felt. And this is what we do. We experience trauma and we become an identity that sets out to be either the opposite of the trauma or the exact same. And either way, the trauma is running the show. The trauma is dictating who you are and how you show up. You are not being authentic. You are acting out of fear. Because to show up in the world authentically, to say, this is who I am right now in this moment, and I don't know who I'm going to be in the next hour, minute, day, whatever, that is something that is really fearless. Of somebody who is not afraid to change, to be malleable, to not stick with the immutable, to not stay fixed or with labels or things that put them in a nice box. For people that defy this expectation, those people are the fearless people. And the trap is you now believing that you're not one of the fearless people, that only the fearless people can do this. But it's a rock and a hard place situation, because they are fearless because they do it. You are not fearless because you don't. All you have to do is change to be like that. Being scared, being a fearful person, that is also subject to change. Being somebody who is highly motivated is subject to change. Being somebody who is terrified of the world and scared and nervous and shy and awkward, that is all subject to change. You can say that you're an introvert, but if you were in a room full of people that really wanted to see you, that loved you, that wanted to celebrate you, that really knew you for you, that saw you for the person that you were, and they loved that, you wouldn't be an extrovert. You're an introvert because you think that people only love parts of you or what you show them, because you're hiding something. You're hiding the rest of the depth. And you don't need to hide. You don't need to put on a show. You don't need to put on a mask. But you are choosing to. Thank you for listening.